What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. My name is the Golduck Gamer 55, and today we have Pokemon Blue version with only one Golduck. Now, in Gen 1, Golduck's moveset was pretty trash. It won't actually learn a Water-type move until level 59, so this will be pretty interesting to see if I can't pull this off. Will I be able to do it? Nobody knows. But I want to know what you guys think. Make sure and leave a comment down below letting me know if you think I can do it, yes or no, and while you're there, don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. So without further ado, guys, let's do this. Alrighty, so I'm going to load up my Pokemon Blue version game, and then I'm going to name myself as close to my name as I can, which is the Golduck Gamer, so all I can fit is Golduck. And as for my rival, you know, since Professor Oak has a hard time remembering what his grandson's name is, I have to remind him. And for this run, he is just going to be Gary. So I'm going to use a randomizer to get a Golduck as my starter. I'm going to replace Squirtle for Golduck, so that way my rival has Bulbasaur, which should be the hardest opponent to have through this whole playthrough. And I'm going to nickname Golduck Daffy. And if you know what reference I'm making with that one, make sure and leave me a comment down below. It's pretty funny on that one to me. So anyway, Gary's going to get Bulbasaur. We're going to have our first rival match, which I'm going to go ahead and take him on. It's going to be no big deal. It's still very early on in the game. And I at least have Scratch, and it's going to be able to take out Bulbasaur with fairly, ease. So then we have Brock, which I still have no water-type moves. So with GEODUDE, all we're going to do is just basically spam Tail Whip until it does nothing anymore, and then go into Scratch. And luckily, after about attempt 3, I get through a GEODUDE. So finally, that method worked because I didn't want to go grinding more than 12. So we get the GEODUDE down, and I remembered about Onyx going from his attack to Bide. So what Bide does is it stores energy, and as many times as you attack it, then it launches the attack back at you. So as long as you don't attack him while he's using Bide, which I would use Tail Whip instead, it wouldn't attack you. So that worked out pretty well. So I used Scratch whenever he would be not biting or using Screech, and I ended up getting the W for that one. So that's our first badge. After beating Brock, we're going to go ahead and head over to Mount Moon, where I'll find Water Gun, which is going to help me out a little bit, and we're going to find the Helix fossil. For anyone that's curious, I chose Lord Helix. Then I go straight to Misty, and I just take her on and just scratch my way through her. I mean, it wasn't that hard. She just had water-type moves anyway. And then I go up against Gary just to, test my luck. And surprisingly, it wasn't that bad. I get all the way to Bulbasaur with ease and take him out with about half HP left. After I get done with Bill and all of his shenanigans, we go to the SS Anne. I take him on again. He now has an Ivysaur with Vine Whip, and it does a lot more than I expected it to. But we still took him out. We get cut. We go challenge Lieutenant Surge, and he actually put up a pretty good fight. It was one of my first challenges that I had. I had to challenge him a few times and get a crit with Daffy against Raichu in order to defeat him after about 4 or 5 attempts. So after that, we go through Rock Tunnel, we get to Lavender Town, and I go straight to the Ghost Tower and challenge Gary once again. Now at this point, he has a pretty different team. He's now got a Pidgeotto, he's got a Gyarados, he's got a, not an Arcanine, but a Growlithe, but the Gyarados was a pretty good little change up for me. I had to use Scratch. I was thinking about doing a Tail Whip type of strategy, but I ended up taking it out, and his Ivysaur comes out again after Kadabra, I should say. So the Ivysaur comes out, and it gave me a little bit more of a headache. I did take it out on the first attempt, but it still was a little bit nerve-wracking. I go ahead and make my way over to Erica and just see what I can do. I am pretty nervous because I have nothing for grass types. So we go up against her first Pokemon, Victreebel. And after about 10 attempts, I could not get past this Victreebel at all. No matter what type of strategy I took about it, it would either put me to sleep or just straight up use Razor Leaf, sometimes critting me, sometimes not, and it was so hard to get through just Victreebel. So I decided to just go ahead and do the Team Rocket shenanigans, which was pretty easy. We leveled up quite a bit, and Giovanni was just a sweep. I mean, all he had was rock types and ground types, so Bubble Beam all the way through all that. And through all that, we actually got to level 39, which gave us Confusion, and to my knowledge, that's really good against all of Erica's team. So we decided to go ahead and take her on again with Confusion. And I had a way better run this time. It did still take me a few attempts, but I didn't want to overgrind and come back later on. So we end up getting through Victreebel with 8 HP. Tangela comes out next, and it does nothing. It just goes for Bind and Constrict. And then luckily on her Vileplume, I had 3 HP left. So I go for Confusion, and it actually confuses it. So it hits itself in the Confusion, and then I take the W. Oh my goodness, was this probably the biggest challenge of the run right here, Erica. Which in any other run I've ever done was not that bad. So we get the Pokeflute, we mess with Snorlax, and yeah, we go down to Fuchsia City and meet up with Koga. Now he's all poison types and we have Confusion, so same thing. It's not that big of a deal. We just Confusion our way through this gym and we pick up another gym badge. Bada bing, bada boom. So after defeating Koga and getting Surf and Strength, I go to Silphco and take on Gary. And on the very first try up against his new Venusaur, I am actually able to live a final Vine Whip with 3 HP. Confusion will confuse Venusaur, and I will take the first W with that Venusaur, which made me so nervous when I first saw it, but we did it. Giovanni's up next, and just as before, he stands up no challenge to me and Daffy. I just use Bubble Beam for everything, basically, and yeah, that's it. So Sabrina's up next, and I thought this was going to be quite a bit more of a challenge, but we just used Bubble Beam on just about everything. I did get paralyzed, but once Alakazam comes out, it's just using Fury Swipes, and yeah, we got another gym badge just like that. We go revive our Ammonite, Lord Helix, and we name him Like and Sub, because if you haven't done so far, you should. So Blaine's up next, and I think everyone knows how this gym badge goes. We just wipe the floor with him. Just Bubble Beam all of his Fire-type Pokemon to oblivion. No big deal. I mean, and then Giovanni's right around the corner. Just a quick little jump over a stream. And same thing. I mean, he is just all rock types, ground types. So Bubble Beams just all day. So for our final challenge before the Elite Four, we have Gary again in his final form, just about. And this took so many attempts to get to this point right here. I would finally get to Venusaur with 30 HP. This is my best run, and I could not do it. So I ended up going and grinding Daffy up to level 60. And we took on Gary again. We took out his Pidgeot, we took out his Rhyhorn and his Gyarados with fairly ease. Growlithe comes out, and he's no big deal. It's Alakazam that would use his Psychic and Recover spamming that would really take out the HP the most. But we got through him with a lot of HP. And then here comes Venusaur. I did manage to get a crit, so that helped out tremendously. I didn't get a Confusion off, but He also got the crit and one more confusion, and we got the W for that battle. Woo! Okay, so now we're in the Elite Four. Lorelei is up first, and we actually replaced Fury Swipes with Mega Kick for her. After many attempts, we had to make a change because Fury Swipes was just not coming through some of these bulky mons, and Confusion could not take out Cloyster, could not take out Slowbro. So we had to make some changes. We taught him Mega Kick, and it worked out pretty well. We got through most of her team with ease with that Mega Kick adjustment. Jinx is no big deal, and the Lapras, luckily we got lucky with critical hits with our confusions. So Lorelei was out. Bruno comes up next, and he is no match. All he has is rocks and fighting type, and all we have is water and psychic type moves. I also did teach Daffy Dig, thinking I would use it, but I actually saved all the PP for Agatha, which is up next. I would use Dig for all of her Gengar and Haunters, and then with Golbat I had one confusion left. So I figured I would use it, but I had to use Bubble Beam too. But basically the Digs just take out the rest of her team with ease. Last up we have Lance, and I had nothing for Gyarados, so I had to teach Blizzard actually to Daffy. I got really lucky with it because it used Hyper Beam, and we went for the Blizzard once again, taking it out. I would use Dig for the Dragonairs, taking those guys out. Bubble Beam takes out Aerodactyl, and then one more Blizzard finishes the deal with Dragonite. And our last and most intense battle was with Gary. Ooh, this was a tough one. Pidgeot comes out, and it's no big deal. We use Dig on Alakazam, which takes it out with a lot more ease than I thought. Rhydon gets taken out with Bubble Beam. We use Blizzard on Gyarados. It takes 3 hits, though, to get that guy out. Arcanine's no big deal. Bubble Beam it out of here. And then Venusaur. I had a trouble going in between Dig and Confusion, but we eventually got it down to just a little bit. I went for Dig. It went for Solar Beam. We went first. We got the W. We won Pokemon Blue with just one Golduck. It was a fun run. I learned a lot. It was a lot of hurdles to get over, but I had full faith in my boy. We ended with level 69. It took me a few days to get it done, but you know. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure and leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys thought. And until next time, guys, stay awesome, stay positive, and I'm the Golduck Gamer 55. Adios.